Now we come to questions. Asking questions and answering them is paramount to any conversation, as you will agree. So let's look at 6 of these 6 question words that will really make your Hindi fly. Let's get going. Alright, this is one of the most important topics because you're going to learn how to ask questions. There are 6 questions in all, and once you know them, you're ready to actually ask questions in a conversation and speak with people more fluently. Let's start. So what's the background review? We always do background review as usual in our classes, in our videos, in our live sessions. We always do this. So we'll look at the 6 important question words. Very useful. These are very useful for conversation, like I said. But first, as usual, let's review. How can you say wo pizza khati hai? She eats pizza. I think you know this by now. How you say this? She eats is here and pizza is here, right? Wo pizza khati hai, right? If you're having trouble with this, you can try our live classes as well. We do have free classes, so you can try it out. This way, with a live tutor, you will be able to speak this much faster, just helping you to say this, right? Now, how can you say this part? Replace wo with Sita, right? Sita pizza khati hai, right? Here it was wo pizza khati hai. Here it's gonna be Sita pizza khati hai. Sita eats a pizza, right? Sita pizza khati hai. Now you try it. How can you say she eats a she sees a movie? Yes, she sees a movie. Wo movie. I think you know what to do next. Remember, don't forget the T and the hain. Now she becomes Sita. This is the main idea here that we're talking about. She becomes Sita. In other words, Sita is the name of a woman, and you can use it like this, right? So Sita sees a movie. Easy enough for you. Let's move on to the real question. This is our first question. The first question is where? Where is Kahaa? Kahaa. Now many people have trouble pronouncing this. So how do you pronounce this? It's pronounced like Kahaa. Kahaa. Right? Almost sounds like aha in English, right? Aha, I got it. Like this. Kahaa. All right, that's helpful. Remember, it's important to know how to pronounce it. Okay, now here's the structure of the sentence. Whatever structure you've got, just put Kahaa in the second place. Just put in the second place. So here's the second place here. Sita Kahaa movie dekhti hai. What does this mean? Sita sees the movie where? Sita sees the movie where? Means basically you're asking in English, where does she see the movie? So Sita Kahaa movie dekhti hai. She sees it in a movie theater or at home or in the garden. All of these. Sita Kahaa movie dekhti hai. Know that Sita is the name of a woman. Okay, now let's see this main idea here. In Hindi, we don't have the equivalent to does, right? We don't need it, right? Sita kahan jati hai? That means where does Sita go? But there's no does. So Sita goes. You're gonna say Sita goes, and then you just put the kahan here. Means she goes where. Remember, it's always in the second place. Now you try it. I think you got enough information. Sita eats the pizza. Where? The word for eat is ka. How can you try it? Remember, the kaha comes. Kaha, first of all, the word is kaha. It comes in the second place. Sita kaha. I think you got it. Sita kaha. And you can use this part here. How about Radha speaks Hindi where? How can you say this one? I think you got it. I think you got it. Right? Let's move on. Let's look at when. When is also easy. It's the same kab. Kab. All these question words almost have a K in front of them. Like in English, we have the WH. Here we've got K here, right? So how do you pronounce it? You pronounce it like cub, cub, cub. Almost like the English word cub, right? Cub, right? Cub. So cub, right? Got it? All right. So like kaha, same as kaha, we put cub in the second place. So in other words, you're gonna put the cub right here, right in the second place. Right? Sita kaha movie dekhti hai? Sita kab movie dekhti hai? Sita sees the movie when? That's the main idea. Sita sees the movie. Now you try it out with me. Sita kab ghar aati hai? Right? Same idea. A means to come, and Sita comes home when? Sita kab ghar aati hai? When does Sita come home? Right? That's the main idea. All right, you try it. Sita goes to the office when? When is kab? Again, and go is ja. So how can you say Sita goes to the office? Sita goes to the office. How can you try that? Sita goes to the office. Sita office job. I think you got the idea of it, right? You put the cub in the second place now. How about when does Amit make tea? Now this gets confusing for people because they try to put the when at the start. Please don't do that. Try to make the sentence Amit makes tea when. Amit chai blah 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 and put the cub in the second place. Amit cub. Don't put the cub at the start. That breaks the Hindi a little bit. Okay, great. The next one is why. So let's see how many we've done so far. We've done kaha, which is where. Then we've done kab, which is when. Now we've got the third one, kyo. Kyo is not as important for our conversations, but it's right here. So the same rule, put the kyo in the second place. Kyo means why, put the kyo in the second place, right? So let's see how we can say this. Amit kyo pizza banata hai, right? Amit kaha pizza banata hai, kab pizza banata hai, and now this one time we've got Amit kyo pizza banata hai. Why does Amit make pizza? As I keep reminding you, try to say the sentences while you're watching the video. Right? When you join our live classes, if you do join them, you'll see our teachers will also encourage you to speak this way. This way you'll remember how to say it. Okay. Radha kyo office jati hai? Radha kyo office jati hai? Why does Radha go to the office? Right? Radha kyo office jati hai? All right. Now you try it. Why does Rohit play the guitar? The word for play is baja. Baja. Why does Rohit play guitar? Very nice. You got it. Very nice. Okay, why does Priya ask the question? I think you got it. Start with Priya. Please don't start with why. The why comes in the second place. So Priya and then kyo, and then you ask the question, right? Then you do this. All right. Now how can you say how? Also, I forgot. Remember, you want to use as many English words at the start. Nobody is going to judge you. Most Hindi people will use a lot of English words, as you know. So the more English words you use, the faster you'll be able to speak, the easier you'll be able to communicate. Later, you can always swap them out when you work on the vocabulary. And we have a big list of vocabulary words as well. And we've got a great system. We can show you in our live classes how to work on them. But for now, you're just working on this idea. And let's move on. How. How means kaise. Kaise is how. So put the kaise in the second place. Aap kaise hain? Same idea. Kaise comes in the second place. How are you? Right? Kaise is gendered. What I mean by this is for women, it's going to be wo kaisi hai. How is she? Not kaise, kaisi hai. Kaisi, right? Feminine, as you know, dekhti hai, sunti hai. Same idea. Kaisi hai. And for men, it's going to be wo kaisa hai. How is he? Wo kaisi hai and wo kaisa hai. Right? Now, how can you say how is mom? Mom is feminine. How can you say this? I think you got it. How about how is Rohit? Masculine. Now this is the idea that I haven't mentioned before. Let me just explain it to you real quick here. The way the names in Hindi are pronounced is you've got this Rohit here. If the name ends in a or in I, like e or u, then it's a woman's name. Most of the time, not always, right? So let's say Sita is most probably a woman's name, Dipti is a woman's name, and Anju is a woman's name. So all of these ideas are important for you. If you don't know the name, you can guess it this way. These women's names end in u. How about the men's names? Men's names usually don't have a vowel like a or I or u. The names will not have this. So men's names will be like Amit or Rohit, right? Something like that, or Suresh, something like this. So remember, men's names don't have this, women's names will have this. Now what's the exception? Sometimes especially for Punjab, you will have names which are unisex, and that's the exception. But other than that, throughout the Hindi speaking land, you will find people's names, e and u are the women's names. So this way you can now start guessing people's names. You can now almost know who is masculine and who is feminine. Coming back, I think now you know how do you say who is Rohit. Rohit is a man. Sorry, how is Rohit? Rohit is a man. So how would you say this? You will have the a ending, you'll gender it, and you'll have the a ending. Okay, let's move on to this question word now. What? So what, the way we say what is kya. This is the fifth question word. So how do you use this? We replace the answer with the kya. What do I mean by this? First of all, kya means what, right? So let's look at the sentence here. Amit song sunta hai. Amit hears a song. Amit song sunta hai. Right? You got this? Amit song sunta hai. You know this very well. Now this song is going to be replaced with kya, like this. Amit kya sunta hai? Amit kya sunta hai? Amit hears what? Right? So that's how you'll say this. All right, let's try one more. Aap kya bolte hain? Right? Kya in the second place. You speak what? Don't try to put kya at the start. It'll totally mess up the meaning of the sentence. Kya is a very powerful word. Aap kya bolte hain? What do you speak? Remember, the kya is in the second place. Try it now. How can you say she watches what? Or she watches a movie, and you want to ask what does she watch? So you want to say kya in the second place. In the second place. All right. Wo, start with wo and try to say it, and post your answers in the comments if possible, or at least say them out loud. How about this one? What do you eat? How can you say this one? I think you got it. Let's move on to the next part. Okay. Let's go to who. How can you say who? The sixth question word is kaun. Kaun. Again, we replace the answer with the question word like we've discussed. So Suraj soccer khelta hai. Khel means to play, right? So Suraj plays soccer, and then you're going to replace Suraj, right? So first let's try to understand. This is Suraj plays soccer. Then you replace Suraj with the question word kaun. Kaun. Remember, this pronunciation is almost like awe, like awesome. How do you say the word awesome? Is the same way, kaun, right? And then this is no kaun soccer khelta hai. Kaun soccer khelta hai, right? Kaun soccer khelta hai. Who plays soccer? So replace Suraj with kaun. Now, if you don't know the gender, you will use the same a ending, because let's say you don't know who is playing soccer. Is it a girl or a boy or a mixed gender? You will use the ta ending here. It's not as strict, but try to use it if possible. So know that the unknown gender and then the masculine singular are the same. Okay, if you don't know the gender this way, for kaun, you will use the ta ending. All right, how can you say who speaks Hindi? Again, this time you want to start with a question word. Kaun. And see, now it's easy. It's basically the same structure. Amit Hindi bolta hai, and then how can you replace Amit with kaun? How about this one? Who makes lunch? Very nice. I think you got the hang of it. All right, let's look at the memorizers. When does Rahul speak? So remember how you say this. Rahul bolta hai. Rahul speaks, and you put kab in the second place like we said, right? That's how you say this. How are you? You could say aap kaise hai, because he's saying it to a man, so it's going to be kaise hai, right? One more. Who is that? Etc. All of these ideas, you know this part. Who are you? Right? Aap kaun hai? What is that? All of these are here, and of course the memorizers, the answer key is also right here for you to memorize. So remember, these memorizers are super helpful. We have used many of our learners have used this memorizer and started to speak fluently. This is your gateway to start speaking Hindi. It's so much fun that you can use it, and all the people in our classes also use it. All right, let's move on to the next topic now, which will help us to answer these questions now. Now that you know the 6 question words, we're going to start some conversations. This is the real fun part. So let's start with a conversation between two neighbors, right? How can we say this? So let's say, of course, it's just a basic conversation, but how can you start it this way? How can you say, hello, I am Anita? Or if you're a man, you can say, hi, I'm Amit, right? You'll say, namaste, very nice. Main Anita hu, or you can say, mera naam Anita hai. Both of them will work, right? Next one, how can you say, you're talking to a neighbor and the neighbor's name is Priya, right? So how can you ask them, who are you? Remember, the word for who is kaun. See if you can try it. Aap kaun hai. Not kaun aap hai, aap kaun hai. Okay, and then the other person is going to reply now. The other person says, namaste, hello, and then how can you say, I am Priya? Easy, main Priya hu. Right? Then what can Priya say? What's a common thing to say? How are you? How can you say that? Remember, how is kaisi? Again, it's in the second place. Aap kaisi hai. Remember using kaisi because Priya is a girl, right? Next one, how can you say, I am good? Main achhi hu. I'm good. For a woman, or you can say main acha hu for a man. Later, in the coming sessions, you're going to see why it's achi or acha, but for now, for a woman it's achi, for a man it's acha. So I'm good. You can also say an easy one, main theek hoon, which means I'm okay. This is another way to say this. Now, this is a quick conversation. Now, suppose there's a boy nearby, right? And you're pointing to them and saying, who's that? Remember, that is vo. Vo. So how can you say, who's that? The word for who is kaun. Can you guess it? Yes, it's wo kaun hai. Who's that? Right? And you want to say the other person says, this is Amit. So it says, ye, yes, try it. Ye Amit hai. Very nice. Then what can you say? Suppose there's another person nearby. How can you say that one? Let's say that is Radha. You'll say wo Radha hai. That's Radha. Right? That's how you'll say this. Wo Radha hai. Next one, how can you say Radha is a sister? Like it's my blood relationship sister. The word for sister is behen. How can you try it? Yes, try it. Behen. Very nice. Very nice. How can you say Radha is a sister? Radha behen hai. Right? Radha's sister. But there's one part missing here. Radha is my sister. So this is a new word for you. And this is what happens in our live sessions. We always add some extra spice to the actual conversations in addition to checking your pronunciation and also the musicality. Otherwise, it sounds very non-Indian, right? It sounds a bit foreign. You want to blend in. You want to have that musicality, which is what we will show you in the live classes. But here it is. Radha meri behen hai. Radha is my sister. Now, let's talk about Radha, right? Remember, in a conversation, you always want to connect one to the other, one topic to the other. So now you want to ask, Radha goes to the office. The office is ja. Ja means go, right? So how can you say Radha goes to the office? I think you know it. Radha office jati hai. Very nice. Radha office jati hai. And then how can you say no? Easy, nahi. Very nice. Sometimes you just want to make it short. That makes it like a real life conversation, not like a textbook type conversation, right? Next one. Okay, so she doesn't go to the office. Then what can you say? So she goes to school. How can you say she goes to school? Radha school jati hai, right? Or Radha college jati hai. Any of these you can say. And then you say no. But you can have more human feeling and you can say nahi nahi. No. It's like no. She doesn't go to the office. She doesn't go to school. Then you ask, oh, she doesn't go to the office, she doesn't go to school. Then, phir means then, right? Then you say, she's a teacher. How can you say that? Wo teacher hai. Right? Wo, she teaches history. Now the word for teach is padhat. So this is a new word for us. Again, it's in the memorizers, in the flashcards. You can practice it. So how can you say that? Wo history padhati hai. She teaches history. She teaches history, right? So she goes to school, she goes to college, and she teaches history. And then you can respond always with an expression that's badhiya. That's awesome. That's excellent. So badhiya is a word that tells you it's excellent. All right. So this way you can now try it yourself. How can you imagine you're talking to a neighbor and you ask them, "How are you? Who are you?" Right? Who's the person who's next to you? Who's that person? And you describe that person. So even if you write 1 or 2 comments, or feel free to write more, post it, you'll retain it better. Remember, this is exactly how you will learn. So many people have learned with us in our live classes. So this is your awesome opportunity to start learning. Just post a few comments. Excellent. Hopefully this was useful. Let's move on to the next grammar idea and then we'll move on to even more fun conversations after this. Now you know how to ask questions. Let's see 5 ways on how you can answer them. These 5 ways are really going to help you flower your Hindi. Your Hindi is going to blossom. Any sentence you use or any question somebody asks you, you can answer it this way. Let's get started. Now that you know how to ask questions in the previous module,